Today, I'm here joined by the 2023 Junior IMMAF Atomweight World Champion, Amy Scully. Amy, it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely, no, it's a pleasure. I mean, I've seen lately, just on your socials and whatnot, you've been keeping busy, traveling, training nonstop. Yeah, how are things
Yeah,
on your side?
training's going good. Like I'm fully focused on it now. Like I've been working a bit over the summer once because I was in Thailand actually for a month and a half, and I was training over there with the Fairtex crew, which was that was amazing. Like I was getting battered every day by them, but I came back like a different fighter, like definitely levels above. And then after that, I was working for a bit. But now that the worlds are announced, like I'm fully set on training as much as I can now up until the worlds.
Yeah, Thailand is one of the things I sort of wanted to touch upon. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, one of the good things about your socials, especially when someone like me, I'm doing research for an interview, you're blogging nearly every day.
Yeah, it's all there. You just have to scroll through and listen to me yap on about my day a few times, and you'll know exactly what I'm up to.
Yeah, it's at least there's something there to go through. But I wanted to ask, obviously, yeah, you're normally based in SBG, right? In
Yeah,
Ireland. Yeah. So
yeah.
so what's that contrast like going to Thailand and comparing to your day-to-day training at SBG? What's the contrast?
I'd say the training's a lot harder over there. Like I feel like the way we train over here, it's not that we're lazy, but it's a lot of kind of it's just like a different type of vibe there. Like you have to run in the morning, you have to then go to your session, you'll do session after session, like you're training like 5 hours a day. And if you're not, then they won't take you seriously. Like you kind of have to do it. Whereas a lot of stuff, like even when I'm back home training now, it's kind of all on my own. Yeah, I mean, whatever I do is kind of on my own, whatever I kind of choose to do. Whereas when you always training there, it was like you have to train this, get the session in, do your Muay Thai, do your MMA. And also the humidity was like nuts. Like I literally lived 2 minutes away from the gym because I just got the gym accommodation because it was easiest. And by the time I'd walked to the gym, I may as well have done a warm up because I was sweating by the time I got there. So that was one thing that was a positive and a negative because I definitely think it reduced my injury risk, but like I was drinking like 6 liters of water a day.
I do you see yourself going back out there in the future to get some more?
100%. Yeah, the girls were lovely there, and like the level was very high. Like they're all the girls I was sparring with were all one championship fighters, and then there's BJJ black belt as well, who was amazing that I would learn so much from. So I definitely go back there and train there again.
Awesome. Okay, I want to go back to last year, I suppose. The 2023 IMMAF Worlds in Albania. Like we said off camera, I was there as well. So I managed to actually watch you in action. You of course won yeah, back-to-back wins via submission, and
Yeah,
of course the gold to boot. I mean, sort of talk me through that whole experience and how do you look back at it?
it was actually my amateur debut as like an adult. So that was one thing that I was kind of made it a bit more nerve wracking, and it was just kind of made it an even more monumental moment for me. But coming up to it, actually, my first proper spar, I was actually sparring against the senior atomweight world champion from last year. She came over to SPG and we trained together, and we only got one spar in, and it lasted one round because as I was going for a takedown, my knee slid against the cage, and whatever it did, it sliced open. So for about like that was only 8 weeks before the worlds. So for about 4 of those weeks, I couldn't do anything. And then for the last 4 weeks, then I could only do striking. So for me, that was kind of mentally very difficult because I was like, oh, I can't, like jiu-jitsu is my main thing. I can't train what I'm best at. And it kind of made me have to really just believe in myself so much more because I knew I'd put in all the work all before then. So I just had to make sure I kind of believed in myself. And then when I got there, it was like a surreal experience. It was just such good fun. It was nice to meet everyone that was there were also fighters and just kind of get to know, like I got to know a few other people. And then yeah, everything was just it was surreal. And the fights themselves were just I thought I did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't get much better than that, isn't it? 100%
Yeah,
winning rate and a gold medal.
exactly. So I mean I came back happy. I got my debut, got two fights then as well, which was handy. So and then I got two submission wins, which I was very proud of.
For sure. Um, Piggybacking a little bit off what you sort of mentioned before about meeting other fighters and whatnot. One thing I
Yeah.
was sort of interested in is, Ireland's amateur sort of IMMAF team has slowly been growing over the past few years. When you guys go out there, how much of it is a sort of is there like a sense of team Ireland? or is it more like you guys are sort of working individually, all representing the nation, but sort of yeah, doing it as individuals?
I feel like it's kind of individual. Like the people that I came with from the gym, they were there and supported me the whole time, and we are kind of our own little team. But apart from that, like I know Danny McCormick for the youth squad sessions. Like when I did the Youth World Championships, we were training every couple of weeks together coming up to it. But for the adults, we don't get as much squad sessions together. It's just maybe a bit more difficult. We're kind of more spread out across the country and stuff like that. And we all have like work and stuff we have to do. So we don't really get that much squad sessions. That some of them I hadn't even met before going to the IMMAFs. But while you're there, you start talking to people and then you get to know them. And then when you meet them at other fights and stuff, you keep talking to them. But when I went to the Worlds, I felt like it was just kind of little team SPG and then the other teams as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the exact same sense when I went to the Youth World in Abu Dhabi last year. It was kind of like, yeah, there was an overall team sense, but it was, yeah, separated into its own little segments. But
yeah,
I mean, something seems to be working because you are seeing Ireland impress and improve on the IMMAF scene. So yeah, and maybe over time that sort of overall sense of Team Ireland will begin to grow. Yeah, which is something to look forward to. Okay, then obviously with the success, there also comes experiences to learn. At the European Championships earlier this year, things didn't go quite to plan.
No.
But is that a learning experience for you? Like you say, that must have been your third amateur fight as an adult. Are there positives and learning experiences you can take from that fight?
100%. Like as soon as I got home, I was like, you know what? You know what I mean? I'm like, it's not like I wasn't training hard, but like it was my first proper loss that I'd ever experienced. And like it did like definitely, I didn't let it affect me for too long, but definitely it hurt a lot because there's also like a decent bit of like, since I'd won the Worlds, I kind of felt like I had something to prove as well and make sure that I won it. So to get tapped out in the first like minute, it was pretty terrible, to be honest. But like that's just the sport. But like I kind of just thought about it and I thought like all my favorite fighters, they've all lost before, and you kind of I never really thought about how it felt to be in the losing person's shoes, like just up until then. Because like I'd lost before by decision, but like having to like tap is just something different. I mean, you're giving up. That's how I feel, like you're giving up. So it was definitely like a tough experience, but I feel like I've come back stronger and it's made me more resilient. And like in the Worlds, I'm just going to give it everything like I did last. Like I gave it everything for the Europeans, but it just didn't go my way. And that's just the way the sport is. But I definitely feel like it made me want to come back stronger.
Yeah, like you say, it is the nature of the beast. But the good thing about amateur MMA is, once you make that switch to pro, all of this is kind of like left behind and you can start afresh and building that new record. Okay, I kind of have two questions here. First, I guess we'll quickly talk about you had your, I guess, first amateur fight as an adult outside of the realms of IMMAF at Clan Wars, right? What was that experience like, and how did it compare to IMMAF? IMMAF is such a sort of unique product, especially compared to the other amateur MMA promotions out there. So, yeah, what was that experience like, and how did it compare?
It was awesome. If I'm being honest, it was amazing. Like it was the first time I was able to have like all my family and my friends there, which like like when I even watch back the fight as well, I can hear like people, shouting my name and like shouting for me and stuff. And it just like, it was obviously the Worlds meant like so much for me to win. And it like was probably my greatest achievement in my life. But just to have everyone there and get my hand raised and not just have like my mom to go back to, I had literally had my whole family and everyone that like supported me and is supporting me back home, just to have them all there. It was like, I couldn't stop smiling, I think, for like 5 days. I was just so happy. Like, but it was a great atmosphere. And that's the atmosphere that like when I go pro, like that's what I want, like a proper crowd. Like IMMAFs is great, but it is you versus the other person. Like that's it. That's all there is. Like there isn't really much people kind of supporting you. Like you have your kind of Team Ireland and stuff, but like it's not the same as having a proper crowd where everyone's just there to support you, because all my teammates have their own fights to worry about as well. Whereas that time everyone was there for me, and that was the best feeling ever, just to have them to support me.
Yeah, 100%. And then the sort of second question related back to what you were talking about before in Europe. So obviously, yeah, like we said, the 2024 Worlds are a month or so away.
Yeah.
Obviously in Uzbekistan. Is there a part of you, and obviously squad lists aren't announced yet or anything like that. Is there a part that you would like to be, matched up in the brackets with that opponent that you came up short against,
Oh,
Julia Głaz,
100%.
and get that one back? Yeah.
100%. I'm hoping for it. 100%. Yeah. Like, I'd love to fight her again and just go again. Like, I felt like when we did fight, like, I expected her to just grapple straight away, which she did end up submitting me, but she came out pretty strong with the punches. That threw me off. So I panicked, did a takedown, and then I just wasn't ready to defend the armbar. Like, I want to run it back and go again, and I want to submit her.
Yeah, I mean that is one thing that IMMAF does has. It has the potential to have these sort of storylines. Like I remember
Yeah.
at the Worlds, Lisa Zimmo from Team England had come back and she'd had this horrible injury that meant she hadn't competed in the finals the last year, and then she was able to come back and right all those wrongs and win gold. So yeah, I mean imagine what it would be like yourself versus Julia like in the final, but for gold.
Yeah.
That'd be something
That's it.
special.
Like, I hope. Like, I want to fight her, and I'm going to get to the finals. So if she's on the other side of the bracket or if she's the first person I fight, it doesn't matter. But it would be pretty cool to be the finals.
100%. Obviously, like we've sort of spoken about, you travel quite a bit, both with IMMAF and with like on your own travels. Where does sort of Uzbekistan rank as a destination to go to compared to the past?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like, I barely even knew, like I couldn't even point out on the map until it was like announced. I probably would fail at pointing at it right now if I had to. But I was looking up kind of what it kind of looks like and stuff like that, and it seems like it's going to be a cool place to go. So I'm always just open to kind of like exploring, seeing new places, getting new experiences and culture and stuff like that. So I'm going to rank it high because it's probably somewhere without the IMMAFs I never would have gone. So it's going to be an experience that I probably, without fighting, would never experience.
Yeah, I think it's one of those nations that really has like a deep love of combat sports right now. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of investment in infrastructure, and yeah, I fully expect it to be quite a spectacle. So then once you're there, after you've done the probably 10-hour journey or whatever it's going to be, what are your sort of goals? I guess we've spoken about the rematch, and of course you want to win, but
Yeah.
is there anything you sort of want to showcase with your performances once you're there?
I just want to showcase that I'm the best fighter in the world. You know what I mean? At Atomweight, I just want to show that I won last year for a reason and I'm going to win this year for a reason. And I put in the most work I possibly can every single day. So I just want to prove that my hard work is worth it, really. That's it. Like, that's the main thing. There's no specific things I want to do. Obviously, I'm always looking for a finish. So I'd love to finish everyone whatever way I can. But yeah, I just want to prove that my hard work is working.
Yeah. I mean, we'll be looking for the Muay Thai stance and all that, like
Yeah.
see if those skills are transferred.
I'll keep one of them go, ooh.
Perfect. I mean, at the same time, what is preparation like for a tournament like structure with IMMAF? Because obviously it's not the
My dog's in the background.
you're all
If you can
good.
hear them jumping around, I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, the sort of the fight camps and whatnot, it's very different to your traditional thing where you've got one opponent to focus in on, and you find out their skill sets and what's going to neutralize what. You're potentially going to fight two, maybe three opponents over the
Yeah.
course of a week. What is that sort of process like, getting ready for it?
Just get a lot of sparring in, just what I mean, make sure I'm kind of training against all different types of styles. So train just striking, train just jiu-jitsu, make sure I have all my bases everywhere. Because especially in amateur, a lot of people have one thing that they're really good at and that's it. So I want to make sure that I'm the most well-rounded fighter there, and that if they want to strike, I can strike. If they want to grapple, I can grapple. And even usually for any fights, if I know who they are, even when the brackets come out and I know the kind of people that are going to be in my division, I usually don't try look too much into them. You don't know whether you're actually going to fight them, and you don't know what they're actually going to be like. Do you know what I mean? When you actually fight them. So I just think having the confidence that you're going to be the better fighter, no matter what, is just kind of my thing. So train hard, make sure I have all my bases covered, and then just be confident I'm the better fighter.
100%. Okay, then looking sort of past that into the future. I mean, what is the sort of career path that you're envisioning for your MMA career? Like, when you spoke about pro before, when do you sort of see yourself making that switch? Are you going to stick around for IMMAF for a while? Moving to the senior divisions, or yeah, what's the sort of the roadmap?
Honestly, my coach Richie, he's the boss. He's gonna let me know when I'm ready to go pro or what I should do next, what type of fights. I'd love after the IMMAF to get a couple more like local fights kind of in Ireland or even in the UK, just to kind of get, get some more fights on my record and just kind of experience. I feel like it's a completely different experience. Walking out into the shows, it's very different to the IMMAFs. That like when you go pro, it's way more similar to like the clan wars and stuff like that compared to going out to the IMMAF. So I want to have the experience of the walkout. You weigh in, you face off with the person. Like there's all those things that are mental aspects that you need to be prepared for before you go pro, because it is like a whole different, standing in front of someone, you have to look them dead in the eyes, all that type of stuff, and the media and stuff like that. Like that's stuff that I want to be prepared for before I go pro. So I would definitely want to get as many more kind of local more fights that I can, and then depending on where that puts me in the timeline, if there's another IMMAFs coming up, then I try to truck myself into that as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. That's it from me. Thank you so much for coming on, Amy. I wanted to give you like the floor for a moment. I know you're sort of looking for sponsors and some help with getting to Uzbekistan, because like we said, it's not a small flight and it's not a cheap flight. So the floor is yours if you want to sort of speak to anyone who's watching right now.
Yeah, well, if any local businesses or brands are looking to support a young fighter who I believe I'm going to make it to the top 100%. And like, if you look at my Instagram, you can see how much work I put in every single day towards training and towards making this dream come true. So if you're looking to support a young fighter who wants to make it to the top, who's going to become 2-time world champ this year, hopefully, then just make sure to give me a message and give me a shout, and I'll get back to you immediately. Thank you so much.